We are in the midst of Top 10 season. Top 10 books of 2024, top 10 albums of 2024, the top 10 moments that we are keeping, the top 10 moments that we are leaving behind. It's a great time of year. And there's a tyranny to the top 10 listings at the end of the year that might lead you to believe that you should have it figured out. For your own life, for your own self, what were your top 10 this or that or the other things? We are perhaps coming up on maybe it's been longer than this, but the 5th New Year's, since New Year's Eve from 2020 to 2021, well, we are inclined, I think, to look at the past year and say, thank God that one's over. This next one's definitely going to be better. Until 21 came, we said, thank God, that one's over. It's hard to know in the moment. But the Maccabees, thankfully, have a message to let you off the hook just a little bit. So it's taught in an oft-cited passage in the Talmud about the establishment of the festival of Hanukkah and its meanings. The section of the Talmud opens with the question, Ma'i Hanukkah? What is Hanukkah? And then it goes on to explain on the 25th of Kislev, when the Hasmoneans entered the ancient temple in Jerusalem, they rededicated it, and they drove out the idolaters who had desecrated that space. And they found, as you probably know in the story, only one container of sacred oil that was kosher to use for the temple's sacred lights. So they lit it. And a miracle occurred, and the oil lasts for 8 days, long enough for them to produce more oil to keep it going. And then at the end of that section, the Talmud records, Lishana acheret, in another year, maybe the next year, they set the festival observance, the singing of Hallel and Al Hanisim. One of the Hasidic masters, the Maggid of Koznitz, asks, what's this next year Mishigas all about? How about doing it this year? There is a principle that one should rush to do a mitzvah. And the Maccabees had one right in front of them. In fact, the Passover story tells us that the holiday of Passover was set contemporaneous with that very first Passover. So what were those Maccabees doing with this Shana Acheret thing? Well, the Maggid teaches that it's possible that during that first year when the Hasmoneans were victorious, the greatness of the miracle and the radiant clarity that ensued caused them to cleave right in that moment to the Holy One, and that they didn't need to establish any prayers, any Hallel, any Hoda'ah, no Al Hanisim. As one of my teachers, Rabbi Sam Feinsmith, puts it, he says, in the immediate aftermath of miraculous victories, the experience can be so vivid and all-encompassing that people can be fully immersed in a new divine reality. And it's only later, as the spiritual intensity wanes, that the need for a formal, ritualized commemoration can arise. That ensures a lasting connection to God's timeless presence. That then creates the conditions that might allow the imprint of that presence to remain firmly fixed in our hearts. I think the opposite could probably also be true. That in the moment of something luminous and miraculous, the significance of the experience is not always so immediately clear. One sometimes needs time to process, so to speak, to think about what's happened and what it means, and that might take a year, and it might take an entire lifetime until one can look back and say with any confidence, Nes Gadol Hayasham, that something great, a miracle, happened there. So we might just be in one of those moments again. Maybe we're not. Maybe it's collective, but also maybe for you personally, the experience of this past secular year, this calendar year, had something within it that was so great that it has carried you through this year to this time, and you need no reminders of the miracle that you've experienced. But it also might be that whatever's happened to you in this past year is still so unclear that you won't know its significance until it hits you and comes clear sometime down the road in the Shana Acheret, at which time you will set for yourself that ritual and that reminder, the understanding of the miracle that you've been through. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavotenu v'imotenu, bayamim ha'hem bazman hazeh. We give thanks to the source of light and of miracles, who did miracles for our ancestors at their time in this season. Amen.